Today's podcast is sponsored by one of my favorite plant-based skincare lines, Osea Malibu. Osea puts your health and the health of the planet first with potent skincare solutions that are pure, safe, and effective.
You're listening to the Ordinary Vegan Podcast, where we teach you everything you need to know about adopting a plant-based diet full or part-time. Our goal is to empower you to live a long and healthy life. You can find today's show at ordinaryvegan.net or on iTunes. If you have any questions, please send an email to questions@ordinaryvegan.net.
Hello, friends, and welcome to the Ordinary Vegan Podcast number 64. This is a follow-up to my podcast with Dr. Greger just last week about the ingredients he discussed for weight loss. Many of you reached out to me about some of the topics he touched on, so I thought we needed to do a quick, deep dive. If we haven't met, my name is Nancy Montori, and I am the founder of Ordinary Vegan, the website, the podcast, Vegan CBD from Hemp, and the upcoming book being released in January, which is a 5-ingredient blueprint to a plant-based diet. Thank you so much for listening. I appreciate every single one of you, and I am here to serve you and provide you with all the information you need to live a long, healthy, nutritious, and delicious plant-based lifestyle. Because wellness is your most valuable asset in life, and I am going to do everything I can to keep you well. Last week on podcast number 63, we were honored with the presence of Dr. Michael Greger, one of my plant-based heroes. And like many of you, I can't wait for his book, How Not to Diet. You guys had some questions about some of the information he provided, and I'm going to try to answer them right now, a few of them at least. Please note, I have not read the book yet. I am basing these answers on the incredible videos and transcripts on nutrition he publishes on his website and on my own research. The number one question I was asked about was the 17 ingredients for weight loss. I don't know the entire list, but I do know the ones he mentioned last week. So I'm going to break some of those weight loss ingredients down and explore how we can include them in our diet. The first ingredient Dr. Greger mentioned for weight loss was cayenne pepper. He recommends a half teaspoon a day. I may have mentioned this in a previous podcast, but repeating superfood information is never a bad thing. So let's talk about cayenne pepper. The active ingredient in cayenne pepper is called capsaicin. Capsaicin is what gives peppers their medicinal properties. It also gives them their hot taste. So the hotter the pepper, the more capsaicin it contains. Collectively, many studies provide evidence for the role of capsaicin in weight management. Basically, what happens is capsaicinoids from capsaicin increase energy expenditure and fat oxidation. One study published in Food Science and Nutrition included participants who had a BMI, also known as body mass index, that fell in the overweight or obese range. What they found was eating capsaicin increased their energy expenditure and fat oxidation. In other words, it increased metabolism. Another study found evidence that the consumption of 2 milligrams of capsaicinoids before a meal reduced energy intake by 74 calories during that meal. Another study observed an increase in energy expenditure of 60 calories per day with capsaicinoid consumption and concluded that this increase would result in clinically significant weight loss in a year. There are so many studies that capsaicin can help burn calories and fat that it is hard not to believe it works. Also, capsaicin not only helps with weight loss, it also contains compounds that can help treat pain from inflammation and rheumatoid arthritis. Not only that, several studies say that capsaicin could play a role in the treatment and prevention of neurodegenerative diseases like Alzheimer's disease. So, chili peppers containing capsaicin can be one of the healthiest foods we can consume. But how do we include capsaicin in our diet on a daily basis? The easiest way is what Dr. Greger recommends, including a half teaspoon of cayenne in our diet every day. But there are several ways to incorporate chili peppers in your diet. First, there is something called the Scoville heat scale, which determines the ranking of chili peppers' heat. Remember, more heat, more capsaicin. On a scale of 1 to 10, the lowest capsaicin levels are bell peppers. Next is jalapeno, cayenne, serrano, and arbol, which are all considered mild, but excellent sources of capsaicin. The next hottest chili pepper are Thai peppers, then Tabasco, and long, slim cayenne. So a little Tabasco sauce on something could go a long way. The scorching hottest peppers are Scotch bonnet, the Moruga scorpion, and the number one hottest red chili pepper is the red Savina habanero, which is 2 million on the Scoville heat scale compared to cayenne, which is approximately 25,000. There are lots of ways to include chilies into your everyday meals. You can add chili peppers or cayenne to almost any stew or soup. You can make a small pot of cayenne pepper tea by adding 4 cups of water with a half inch of ginger grated, and then add 2 tablespoons of lemon juice and a half a teaspoon of cayenne pepper. If you need to add a little sweetness, add a little maple syrup. But I thought today it would be fun to share a delicious Mexican red chili pepper recipe that can be used in so many ways. For example, you could add some shredded jackfruit or tofu to the sauce for tacos, or spread it on a plate topped with some refried beans and rice. You could even use it for the base of a Mexican lasagna. When you have a great sauce, anything goes. If you haven't used dried peppers before, you are in for a treat. They can add so much flavor to any sauce, soup, or stew. But make sure you use rubber gloves when you're working with them. Now, let's go into Ordinary Vegan's kitchen and make one of the best Mexican red chili sauces you can eat. It takes a little work, but it's worth it. Here is what you need. 6 whole dried New Mexico chilies. 6 whole dried guajillo chilies. 4 cups of boiling water. 3 tablespoons of chopped white onion, 3 garlic cloves chopped, 1.5 teaspoons of ground cumin, 3/4 teaspoon of dried oregano, 1 tablespoon of olive oil, or a 1/3 cup of vegetable broth if you are oil-free for sautéing, 1 tablespoon of flour, 1 teaspoon of salt or more to taste, 2 teaspoons of sherry vinegar or more to taste, and 1 teaspoon of brown or white vegan sugar. Wearing rubber gloves, rinse the chilies and split them open, discarding the seeds, the ribs, and the stems. Heat a large sauté pan over medium heat and toast the chilies skin side up in batches for about 30 seconds, being very careful you don't burn them or the sauce will have a bitter taste. Transfer the chilies to a bowl and pour the boiling water over them. Cover the bowl and soak those chilies until they are soft, which will take about 25 minutes. Don't throw away the water. Then puree the chilies with 3 cups of that soaking water in a blender or food processor until it's smooth. Then pour the puree through a coarse sieve into a bowl, pressing on the solids, and then discard the solids. Whisk the remaining soaking water into the bowl. Next, heat the tablespoon of oil or vegetable broth in a large saucepan over medium-low heat. Add the onion, cumin, and oregano and saute for about 3 minutes. Add the garlic and cook for another minute. Next, add the flour and cook, stirring for another 2 minutes. Then, whisk in the chili mixture and simmer partially covered, stirring occasionally until it's reduced to about 2.5 cups, which takes about 30 minutes. Remove it from the heat and add the sugar, vinegar, and salt. Taste and add more salt or vinegar if needed. That is it. A red chili sauce you will never forget, loaded with antioxidants and compounds that will help with weight loss and fight inflammation. Now, before we go to our next weight loss ingredient, I want to take a moment to thank our sponsor, Osea Malibu. I discovered plant-based Osea way back in the 90s, and it was one of the first vegan skincare lines on the market. They were plant-based before it became a marketing strategy for everyone else. I especially love their anti-aging balm. Osea can help reveal and illuminate your natural radiance, whether you're looking for hydration, oil balancing, anti-aging, or blemish solutions. And take it from me, it smells and feels so lovely. Not only that, Osea Malibu is formulated with all skin concerns in mind. Osea makes products infused with sustainably sourced organic Patagonian seaweed and active botanicals. To purchase Osea Malibu, go to oseamalibu.com. That is OSEAMALIBU.com, and use the coupon code ORDINARYVEGAN, all one word, to get $10 off your purchase of $50 or more. Thank you, Osea. The next weight loss ingredient Dr. Greger mentioned was 2 teaspoons of vinegar with every meal. Although he doesn't mention on the podcast what kind of vinegar, the research I turned up on his website refers to apple cider vinegar. Personally, I have read about apple cider vinegar for weight loss and detox purposes, but I don't believe I have ever discussed it on a podcast. So let's dive in again. I couldn't find a lot of studies on apple cider vinegar helping lose weight, so I can't wait to hear what Dr. Greger has to say about it. But here is what I know. When I looked at Dr. Greger's website, he says it turns out even just small amounts of vinegar, 2 teaspoons with a meal, can significantly cut down on the blood sugar spike of a refined carb meal. As an example, like a bagel and juice. He also says CT scans confirm that daily vinegar consumption can lead to a significant loss of abdominal fat. In 2017, apple cider vinegar weight loss diet was one of the most popular diets in 2017. And for thousands of years, compounds from vinegar have been used for the healing properties. Studies began in obese mice that suggested that the acidic acid in vinegar improved metabolism. The most popular study of humans came in 2009 when 175 women for 3 months consumed a drink every day containing 1 or 2 tablespoons of vinegar. And every individual had a weight loss of 2 to 4 pounds and lower triglyceride levels over the 3 months than those who drank no vinegar. Another study found that vinegar consumption promoted feeling fuller after eating, so you eat less. And some studies suggest that vinegar can also prevent spikes in blood sugar. So, how do you consume 2 teaspoons of vinegar with every meal? I guess you could just drink it, but always remember vinegar has to be diluted because its high acidity can damage tooth enamel. You could also eat 2 dill pickles, which contain about 1/2 tablespoon worth of vinegar. And dill pickles only contain about 14 calories per pickle. Consuming vinegar as a component of a sauce or salad dressing is probably the easiest way to consume it. I love apple cider vinegar over thinly sliced red cabbage and apple salad. Just whisk 1.5 tablespoons of olive oil with 1.5 tablespoons of apple cider vinegar, 1.5 teaspoons of maple syrup, and 1/2 teaspoon of caraway seeds. Very yummy. You can also do a quick apple cider vinegar pickled vegetable, which can add a fun, tasty component to any dish. Just peel and cut a couple of cucumbers and 2 carrots into thin slices, and then sprinkle with 2 tablespoons of salt and let those veggies drain in a strainer for 30 minutes, and then wash them with plenty of water. Meanwhile, make a vinaigrette by boiling 2 cups of water with 3/4 cups of apple cider vinegar, a teaspoon of salt, and 2 tablespoons of vegan sugar. Cook it until the sugar and the salt has dissolved. Then pour the hot vinaigrette over the vegetables in heat-resistant jars until the liquid completely covers them. Now you can add some chopped garlic, coriander, maybe try adding some thyme for added flavor. Then just cover the jars well and let them chill for 24 hours before serving. Once open, the jars can be kept in the refrigerator for up to 3 weeks as long as the vegetables remain submerged in the water. Bottom line, drinking apple cider vinegar straight or in water could probably get old fast, so I do recommend trying different ways to add the vinegar to your diet. The last ingredient I want to mention is black cumin. To be honest, I had never heard of black cumin before Dr. Greger mentioned it, and he recommends 1/4 teaspoon per day. This is what I found out. Black cumin has incredible health benefits. The active ingredient is called thymokinone, or, easier to pronounce, TQ. And this powerful ingredient can increase cell activity to become a natural killer of various diseases and symptoms. As far as weight loss goes, black cumin boosts metabolism. The Tabriz University of Medical Sciences did a study and found that black cumin, when ingested before meals by overweight females, they found that those women lost 4 times more weight than the placebo group. That is quite impressive. Another study done by the Sam Radalangi University of Medicine found similar results in obese males. Black cumin seeds contain high levels of phytosterols, which we have talked about in the past. Phytosterols are plant fats that resemble cholesterol from animal fats. When ingested, phytosterols limit how much cholesterol is absorbed by the body, which may be the reason they can be a metabolic booster. Black cumin has also been proven to balance blood sugar levels. Black cumin is a little sweeter than regular cumin with a lemony caraway-like taste, so it can work in most recipes. It is very popular in North Indian, Pakistani, and Iranian foods. The best way to consume black cumin is by using it like Dr. Greger recommended, as a spice, 1/2 teaspoon a day. It can be added to chili soups or stir-fries. It's not that easy to find ground up or at your local grocery store, but you can find it online. I will work on some recipes that include black cumin. There are still many more ingredients to discuss, but I will save those for the next podcast, and I will cover Dr. Greger's fat-burning recommendations in my upcoming podcasts. And we will have the complete list in December when Dr. Greger's book comes out. Thank you so much for being here. I am so grateful for all of you. Please remember to go to oseamalibu.com and check out their plant-based beauty products and use coupon code ORDINARYVEGAN, all one word, for $10 off your purchase of $50 or more. If you get a chance, please write a review in iTunes and Spotify. The more reviews we receive, the more opportunity we get to spread the plant-based message. Sharing is caring. Go to ordinaryvegan.net for this week's show notes and for all my natural vegan CBD products made from hemp and the red chili sauce recipe. My number one goal is to help you live a long and high quality life. And I hope today's podcast information increases your odds of achieving that. Thanks for listening. Till next time.
Thanks for joining our plant-based community today. Together, we can accomplish great things. Please subscribe so you don't miss any of Ordinary Vegan's recipes and plant-based tips. If you have any questions or feedback, email us at questions@ordinaryvegan.net. Until next time.